games or sci-fi games often are quite good, yet I don't play them that much. That's why Steam Robots vs Dino's Nexus was the perfect opportunity to try some games and share them with you. To start off, we have Kritter, a base defense roguelike with hack and slash and base building mechanics. Here you play as a robot that needs to fight waves of enemies and defend his own base. At the start of the game you get to customize your own robot. I love that selecting different colors also means changing the eyes, but I would like that separately. Inside the lovely space shuttle Mark you will be able to play multiplayer and purchase some permanent upgrades. When you want to begin your run you get to choose from 3 classes. Well, one at first, but you get to unlock other classes later. My most beloved class was the one with the potato shooter, because you could hit enemies from a fair distance. The sword class did do enough damage, but you needed to hit from very close distance, so you needed to dodge with every attack. Mid-range flamethrower was likable as well, I give it a thumbs up. When you finish a wave you get teleported right next to Mark. I love that this AI likes to make jokes and has a very nice accent. At the end of the wave you also will get a screen where you can choose an upgrade for the next run. I like these kind of upgrades, but it also seems like a waste since you will just lose them when you die. The outside of the space shuttle is a shop where you can buy upgrades for that run. These upgrades you can buy using stones you get from enemies and from stones you find across the map. The only thing I dislike is that the timer will appear if you decide to leave the circle around Mark. This timer is not fair, since you need to explore a huge map and only have 1 minute to do so, so you can only explore 2 things. Then you need to turn back and the time is already over and you're dead. One thing from the exploring part I do really like, and that is that you can defeat enemies that defend a chest. When you do get to open the chest you get more upgrade choices to make your run last longer. Overall I think the game is pretty solid. It's incredibly good for a quick and fun time. I'm curious to see what others will think of it, so drop your opinion down in the comments. The next game is Shoulders of Giants, an explosively colorful sci-fi roguelike, where you play as a sword-wielding robot and a gun-slinging space frog. You start the game by already being on a mission ready to face a boss. Only when you get to face it you shit your pants and run all scared to your home planet. I love that every person here is an animal. Out of all the animals, I love the cyborg panda the most. To start your run you go to the telescope and talk to Dr. Chameleon. Here you get to select a planet to terrorize. I like that the telescope looks like a big chameleon's eye, quite fitting. During your run you try to demolish some pillars that taint the planet. Destroying all the pillars allows you to destroy the monolith, or you get a boss fight that you can't really dodge. Probably means that somehow you need to make use of the environment. To help you during your run you get 1 ability. You can have 2 abilities for the space frog and 2 abilities for the space robot. The abilities work on a countdown, so use them wisely. My favorite ability is the one where you get to shoot purple rockets, since you get to damage multiple times with this. The shockwave ability for the robot is good as well, since it will damage many enemies multiple times. The only problem you face when you are trying to demolish the pillars are the enemies. You have normal ones, tiny ones and green ones. If you get to face a group of enemies you will need to destroy the green ones first, since they will heal others. I quite enjoyed the game. I found it actually more likable to shoot with the frog than attack with a robot. A game that's quite good if you enjoy combat as Kiborg. I don't know why, but it reminds me a lot of God of War. In this action game with roguelite encounters, you play as a guy who can get parts of a cyborg suit of armor that protects parts of your body. The only problem I have with the game so far is the lock-on feature, because instead of your usual R3 you need to press L2 to lock on, and it doesn't even work correctly. But the game has amazing missions and a great tutorial. Next to that the game doesn't have much yet, which is weird since Steam describes it as story driven. From what we have seen, it will be a great game to play. One game that grabbed my attention was Artificial, a physics-based first-person puzzle platformer inspired by Portal and the Half-Life series. What was playable was amazing and the puzzles were doable. I loved the turrets, these things were very fun to destroy, especially since it toast your head off. Locks had no chance against me. The beeping keypads thingies you could find around the map that give you a little story were also quite good. The only thing that was a bit annoying was the lack of lighting at some moments. But that was just me not figuring out what to do.
The grid is back online.
I am looking forward to solving more puzzles when the game is out. I am quite fond of mind games sometimes, so I thought this list was the perfect chance to showcase one. Robbot Detour is a pretty simple wire connecting puzzle game. You play as a cute robot trying to connect a power line without touching the red patches. Pretty simple, but you don't need more. Another game that is looking quite good is Memory Lost, a story-driven action top-down shooter. Games like this are not my typical cup of tea, but because it looked really well, I wanted to share it. One thing that makes this game unique is that it's built around the ability to capture mines. Next to that, it's your standard hack and slash game. I love how characters still have some personality even if they are robots.
How didn't I notice? Okay, mission failed. Back to base. Are you kidding? Be more observant. Apply the call creatively. There's a chipped cultist lurking behind the bridge, so let's shift into him.
Killing enemies and making your way through the map is very enjoyable. The only problem with this is that the combat felt very disbalanced. You have big guys that can take loads of damage and defeat opponents with just one smash, and you have the normal guys that already die after 2 bullets. I would like to see a change in that or a better dodge system, since when you're in range for the enemies to shoot you, you will get shot. Even though it has some improvements to make, I quite enjoyed to play it. One of the games I'm most excited for is Ereban Shadow Legacy. Here you play as Ayana, one of the Ereban. This means that she uses shadow techniques to be stealthy. I would like to say this is like Assassin's Creed and Dishonored, but Ereban is way less lenient if you're caught. Next to this stealth feature, I really like the story aspect. It sounded really well, but the most interesting thing about this is that the robots actually hold conversations with each other, which is really cool but also really scary. I like that you were able to sneak around if you weren't seen, but as soon as you were seen, using shadow techniques became a lot harder. Because you can't really fight back, it only makes your life last a few seconds longer. I didn't pick up too much of the story, but I felt that wasn't necessary as it made a few points clear. You need to get to the marker, robots are your enemies, and you can use shadow abilities. The only problem I found with this game was the controller compatibility, because in the first half of the game I played with a PS4 controller, but this caused the look around feature to lag, and the shadow ability was odd. This made it impossible to get to a certain part, but if you use your mouse you're fine. All said, this game was very good. I look forward to what they will bring in the future. With all these amazing games coming up, I can imagine you want something to play right now. So for an amazing game, click here. Thank you for watching, until next time.